Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, you're leaving your employer. Should you leave your money behind? Find out. Love kids? Looking to work? Learn how you can become a granny nanny. Then, we'll get the backstory on the best treatment for back pain. And answering the call, how dialing can show you care. Plus, the best thing to do with a few extra bucks.
There's no need to miss March Madness because when it comes to great information, our show is a slam dunk. So put down that basketball, pull up a chair, and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. You and your employer are parting company, but that company still has some of your money. Should you take your retirement funds with you or let those investments continue to keep company with the company? To answer that question, we have some company here in our kitchen, Jim Lineweaver. Jim's a financial planner with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
My pleasure.
Jim, what options do we have with our retirement funds when we leave our business, our company?
We really have several options. One is, depending on the amount that you have in the plan, you could just leave that 401k there. You also can take it out in a lump sum. Okay, or you could roll it over to a self-directed IRA or maybe to your new employer if they offer the option.
Let's take each one of those and look at them a little bit more. Let's start with taking a lump sum.
Yeah, this is where you got to be careful because you're really going to get hit by the tax man. If you take a lump sum, meaning you're going to get that check, they're going to do a mandatory 20% withholding right off the top.
Wow.
And if you're not 59.5, they're going to take another 10% for an early distribution penalty. So that may not be your best option.
And when you say they, you're talking about the IRS.
The IRS.
Okay. IRS doesn't mess around. All right. The second option was leaving it with the company.
Yeah, this is where you can leave it there, but you're going to be subject to the restrictions or governances of that plan like you had before. So they may only have 20 different investment options, and also kind of when you part ways, but you keep the money there, you may not get the best service either.
Well, that's the question. I mean, if you leave your money with the company after you're gone, whether you're terminated or left voluntarily, do you get treated like a second-class citizen? Does your money get treated like a second-class citizen?
Possibly both. More like you think of yourself as an orphan.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to really be looking out for you or giving you guidance. So most likely the service will drop, but you will have the flexibility that if you wanted to make some investment options or changes inside there, you still have the ability to do it, but you could probably expect your service to drop on that type of an arrangement.
Okay, the third option was roll your money into your own IRA.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, you can roll it into an IRA, or we also talked rolling it into a new employer's plan. If you roll it over to an IRA, it goes from custodian to custodian, so there's no taxes involved. A lot of times they may make the check payable or send you the check for tracking purposes, but it's really made out to the new custodian, so no taxes are involved. And then when you roll it or it's received inside that IRA, you really have unlimited investment options. So a lot of times that is the best situation to go to.
Now, you had told us about a 20% withholding if you take the money as a lump sum. If you take it and have it go into your IRA, is there tax withholding on that?
Well, yeah, let's say you took it and then you said, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. I want to get it over to an IRA. So they already took out the 20% withholding. So let's say you had $100,000, they took out $20,000, you got a check for $80,000. To get it into a new IRA, you have to do it within 60 days, and you're going to have to make that whole. So you have to come up with the additional $20,000 out of your pocket, get the $100,000 back into that IRA within 60 days, and then next April, you'll get that back on your tax return.
So if you go directly from whoever's managing it with the company plan to whoever's managing your IRA plan, then there's no withholding.
That's the smoothest transition and usually the best way to go.
All right, and people sometimes change jobs several times in their career. Do they have to make the same decision each time?
Yeah, they do. I just had somebody in last week that had 3 prior 401ks still with those old employers, and nobody's really minding the store. So we're in the process of rolling those over to a self-directed IRA, but each time you leave your employer, you have the same options available to you no matter what your employer was or where you're going to.
So if you're thinking that you may be moving several times, rather than leave them all different places, maybe it's time to just put it in an IRA that you control.
Exactly. It's so much easier to manage. Then you can also look at the Roth options or a lot of other things available to you.
Jim, thank you very much. Good information.
My pleasure.
So, should you choose door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3 when you're closing the door on one job and heading to another? As Jim said, it depends on your own life and career. For advice, though, give Jim a call. His number's up next.
To find out more, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or log on to www.lineweaver.net. Next, you're not too old to care for the young. But first, in 1892, magazine staff writer Francis Bellamy pledged to write a few words to honor the 400th anniversary of Columbus's discovering America. Soon after, Bellamy discovered that his words touched the hearts of our loyal citizens. What oath did he orchestrate? We pledge to announce the answer when we return.
Hi, we're the next generation of the Arslanian family.
Do you know we specialize in the cleaning and repairing of area rugs?
Arslanian Brothers offers free pickup and delivery.
Make your rugs look brand new. Arslanian Brothers, the name you can trust. Call us today.
Since 1892, with only a few minor word changes, we still remain true to the Pledge of Allegiance that Francis Bellamy penned. Now that's a pretty powerful pledge.
You've raised your kids and maybe even helped with your grandkids, but did you ever think of putting all that experience to use and getting paid for it? Beth Christie is doing just that, and Carolyn Stolberg taught her how. Beth's a professional nanny, and Carolyn's the founder and executive director of the Alexandria School. Thanks for joining us both today.
It's our pleasure.
All right, let's start. Carolyn, you teach women like Beth, older women, younger women, how to be nannies. But what can you teach someone who's already, been involved with her own kids or her grandkids?
It's a pleasure to have students like Beth in class who have raised their own children, and she has 5 grandchildren, and we teach them current child care thoughts. So we teach them things like nutritional content of formula, different kinds of formula that can be there, or maybe sleep training. Maybe their own children slept well, and you're with a family whose children don't sleep well, and what are the latest techniques in child care?
How do you do the teaching? Is it like a big classroom or
Yes,
books?
we have a whole library media center at the school. We have several classrooms, and it depends on the program that the student is enrolled in.
What's APEX?
APEX is the advanced program for somebody who wants to be a nanny, whether that's a temporary job or a permanent placement, meaning they get up every day and go to that family.
Beth, what's it like to be a nanny?
I love it. I mean, I love children, and right now I'm working with 4 children. I went into their family when they had twins, so that was a lot of fun, and I've been with them for about 4 years now, and I can't say enough good things about it. It's
Do you
a joy.
pick the family, or does the school pick the family? How does that work?
We place only students that graduate from our program. So families come to us, and then we place them with our graduates.
How was the training that you received?
Oh, the training was wonderful. I mean, even though I already knew how to take care of children, it just taught me things that I never knew. It refreshed me, and things that I needed, just needed to be a little bit perked up on, and it just was wonderful.
Name one thing you learned new from the training. Can you remember?
Oh, well, I did the infant care specialist, and everything in the beginning was new, from childbirth to breastfeeding, and even the different smells of poopy.
I do have a poop chart. We're a different company.
This is a family show. We don't say the word poop on the show. Now we have to bleep it. All right. What kind of money can a nanny make?
The school, as a school and a placement agency, we are the agent, so I represent my graduates, and it depends on their experience and the job, the scope of the job. If somebody's taking care of triplets, they're going to make more than if they're just taking care of one. Beth takes care of 4 children, so it really depends on the scope of the job. We help guide as an agent. It's like being an actor. They can say, well, I'm worth this, and I'll say, well, maybe not, but I help.
How many, do you see a number of seniors now coming in to be nannies?
We love our granny nannies.
Nannies.
Beth and I are both grandmothers, so I just love training people who love children and want this opportunity. Whether it is like Beth, who took a permanent job, or it's somebody who does the newborn care, and you go in and out, and you may be with the family just in the beginning, or a few weeks or a few months.
How did you decide to take a job like this as opposed to working in a department store or something else?
Well, that's a hard question. I actually, I just love children. I love to be around them. I think I'm one of those people that this was a perfect choice because I already been doing it for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. I don't think a lot of people know that this option exists.
We're here in Cleveland.
Thank you very much. Well, I thank you for coming out and letting people know.
Thank you.
If you want a rockabye baby and get paid for it, give Carolyn a call. Your experience plus her training could make getting a job as easy as child's play. My thanks to Carolyn and Beth for joining us today.
For more information, call the Alexandria School at 440-914-0044 or click to www.alexandria-school.com. Next, we'll back you up. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. We know women rock, and now you can see proof by viewing Girls on Film, 40 Years of Women in Rock at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. To snap up a ticket for this exhibit by Clevelander Anastasia Pancios, call 216-781-ROCK or spend time jamming at their website, www.rockhall.com.
Today we have a patient who lost patience with the persistent pain in his bent-over back. But now he's standing tall with nary a pain at all. How did he do it? Let's ask him and his doctor. Rudy Gutierrez joins us along with Dr. Noel Aboud from the Solon Spine and Wellness Center. Thanks for joining us today.
Our pleasure.
Let's start with you, Rudy. What brought on your back pain?
Working out in the yard, lifting some heavy things that I shouldn't have been, caused it to give me that chronic back pain.
And how did you treat it?
At first, with painkillers.
Okay.
Then I went to see some doctors, and they got rid of the pain temporarily, and it kept on coming back.
Was it lower back pain, higher back?
Right on the lower back.
How much of an impact did it have on your daily life?
Oh, it had a tremendous impact. I couldn't sit, I couldn't walk for long periods of time, and even got to the point where I couldn't sleep for long periods of time either.
How long did you suffer through it?
It's almost 7 years.
Wow. All right, so Dr. Aboud, Rudy came to you. Tell us about it.
Well, thankfully he fit into the category of as a candidate that would qualify for this technique that we do called non-surgical lumbar decompression. And of the people we accept, we have an 80% success rate. So I'm so happy that his case fit the protocol and he responded really well to the treatment.
What kinds of things do you look for to determine if you can be helpful?
We're looking for people with ruptured discs or a problem called spinal stenosis or arthritis in the spine and just chronic back pain. We kind of treat the worst of the worst.
And what was Rudy's? Do you remember?
He had a disc injury as well as some arthritis in the back.
Okay. So tell us, you mentioned lumbar decompression. Tell us about that.
What it is a specialized table, and it creates like a weightlessness or the same kind of situation you might experience in space. And what it does is it draws blood or pulls it into the injured disc. And then once the blood gets in there, that disc is able to help repair itself and heal.
And we're showing a picture of, looks like a disc.
And we're looking down as a bird would look down on the disc right now. But what I like about it is your own body is healing rather than a pill or a drug or something from the outside that's brought in.
It does this all by itself once you're in this
It's a series of visits on this table, and Rudy went through the whole program and has been doing well.
So Rudy, how long has it been, when did you start the process?
Oh, I would say about 3-4 months ago.
3-4 months ago.
Yes. And how long did it take before you started noticing it?
Started noticing about the 6th week after I seen Dr. Aboud.
How are you today?
Oh, tremendous. I can walk for long periods of time. I can sit for long periods of time and sleep.
perfectly normal, or you still have any problem?
Once in a while I get a little flare-up, but then it goes away just as quickly as it comes.
Now, are you still going through the decompression?
Yes, I am.
How long will Rudy do that?
He's more on a maintenance basis now because the problem is pretty much corrected, and what we'd like to do is run maybe a new MRI to see the pre-MRI versus the post, or an X-ray, just to see if there's any how the body has changed.
And the MRI will actually show repair in the back.
We've seen that, and that's so exciting to be able to show the patient that. It's really neat that the body truly healed itself.
That's great. Rudy, well, glad you're feeling a lot better.
So am I. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, doctor. Appreciate it. So Rudy's back to his old self thanks to back treatment that eased his pain. To see if this treatment could work for you, do what Rudy did. Call Dr. Abood. His number's up next. And my thanks to Rudy and Dr. Abood for joining us today.
Learn more by calling the Solon Spine and Wellness Center at 440-248-5070 or visit their website, www.solonbackpain.com. Next, they call because they care. It's time to get up and go. An exercise minute on Golden Opportunities.
Hi, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're going to do butterflies. You ready to go, Armand?
I think so.
Let's go. We got dumbbells in our hands. We're going to lay flat back on the mat. Excellent. Now we're going to have our arms straight up in the air above our chest here. Hold the dumbbells together with your arms slightly bent. Open at the chest. Let them drop down to the ground and close again. Never bend your arms. Your arms should stay straight the entire exercise. Beautiful. 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 15 repetitions is what you're going to want to do.
You can use soup cans, right?
You can use soup cans.
What about toilet rolls? Toilet paper?
No, that's not enough resistance for us.
That's what I like to use.
You're doing great. Just make sure you keep your arms stiff and your neck down. All right, everybody, now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
Getting a phone call from someone who just wants to see that you're doing okay, that's always a welcome treat. I hope my kids are listening, by the way. And even if your own family member doesn't remember, you can still have that caring call every day. To give you the 411 on a wonderful little-known program, we rang up Ray Odom from the Cleveland Department of Aging, and he called on Ivan Williams, who uses the service, to join our party line. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, let's start with you, Ray. Tell us about Cleveland Care Calls.
Cleveland Care Calls is an automated telephone calling system. The primary purpose of it is to check on the well-being of seniors. We can call them from 7 to 11 a.m. They choose the designated day that they want that call to come in to them, and we can call them a Cleveland resident.
When you say seniors, you're talking about age?
60 or over.
60 or older, okay. And what happens on this call?
Well, the system works like this. We would call them at the designated time, and then they would pick up the phone, and the message would ask them to touch a particular button on the phone, and they would touch that button to indicate if they're okay. If they don't pick up that phone, the system will call them back automatically every few minutes for up to a half an hour. And then if we have a coordinator that's monitoring this system to make sure that they either pick up the phone or we get in touch with them. If we don't hear from them, they don't pick up the phone, then we would immediately call an emergency contact person.
And what's the purpose of this? Is it to get emergency care to somebody, or to just provide comfort that somebody's calling?
It could be either or. I mean, if someone that's living alone and they need to know that they're in a safe place and that somebody is checking on them, we can do that. Someone that may have just been released from the hospital, and they may have a serious illness, and there's no family member around that could check on them. We want to make sure that we can check on them and make sure that they're okay.
Now, Ivan, you look relatively young and healthy. Why are you signed up for this program?
Well, I live alone, and pretty independent guy, and I just thought it was a great service. I live in a senior building, and you know, I've known of people who maybe had a stroke, and were on the floor in their apartment for 2 or 3 days and nobody knew, or even people who had died. So when I checked into the program and you have emergency contact numbers, or they contact management to come and check on you, I thought it was a great service.
Yeah. Do they call you every day?
Every day.
It's reliable and it works.
It's reliable and it works.
Does this work with cell phones or just landlines? What is it?
Well, we would prefer that it would be a landline, although we do have a few individuals that do have rotary phones. And so our preference is to have a landline, and we can actually call them directly and check on those few people that still have rotary phones. But we would prefer the system would pick up a landline.
Ivan, how much are they charging you for it?
It's free.
It's free. Is that just for him or everybody?
Yeah. For anybody that lives in the city of Cleveland that's eligible for this program.
Well, this is a very, very nice service. Thank you both for coming in and
you.
talking to our viewers about it. If the idea of a friendly phone call rings true with you, the Cleveland Department of Aging has your number. Get ready to write down their number because it's coming up next. My thanks to Ray Odom and Ivan Williams for a ringing endorsement of this program.
For details on the Cleveland Care Calls program, contact the Cleveland Department of Aging at 216-664-2833 or online at www.cleveland-oh.gov. Next, find out the best thing to do with a few extra bucks.
We're Gateway Title, keeping life simple. We can make it simple. We've got everything you need. See how easy selling your home can be. We're Gateway Title. We're keeping life simple.
Get your pencils and papers ready because we're doing what you asked. We're going to list all the phone numbers again from our guests so you can have more time to write them down. And then I'll be back with the best things to do with a few extra bucks. What's the best thing you can do with a few extra bucks? You may be thinking, spend it, and that's okay. But if you want to get a big bang for that buck, you'll want to listen to the stellar advice of my law partner, Mike Solomon. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Hi,
Mike, if we have a few extra dollars and we want to make it improve our future, not just spend it, how about increasing our home mortgage payments and get rid of our mortgage faster?
Well, Armin, that's actually a good investment. If you have some extra money, you can go to the bank and say, I'd like to pay some of the principal down. Or you could even go and say, I'd like to refinance and shorten the term of your loan payment. That's going to increase your payments, your monthly payments, but you're paying the principal off faster, and therefore you're going to pay less interest, and you can save thousands of dollars in interest costs over the term of the mortgage.
Now, what some people I know have tried is to just like write an extra check or 2 or 3 towards, the regular mortgage payment, but if you just do that, the bank may not apply it all the principal unless you talk to them, right?
Well, that's right. But even the other thing is you may not have the discipline. If you're not forcing yourself to do it, have some sort of mechanism, oh, this month I won't do it, I'll do it next month, and all of a sudden you've never done it.
So should our viewers just assume that paying off a mortgage is the best way to handle a few extra dollars?
Well, it's not necessarily the best way. The first thing you ought to do is if you have credit card debt, that's the highest interest. There's very, very high interest on credit cards typically. So if you can pay those down faster, you're saving thousands of dollars of of interest charges.
And when you talk about very high interest rates, I mean, are we talking about anything over what you could get in the bank, basically?
Yeah, well, the rates, typically, between 15 and 18%. Sometimes they're 24%, and if you're in a real bad credit situation, it can be higher.
All right, what's the next best thing we can do with our money?
Well, look for other high-interest loans that you've taken out, maybe an auto loan or a home improvement loan, and if you have those, pay those down as fast as you can. The other reason it's good to pay those down is those typically are not deductible off your income taxes, the interest charges for unsecured loans like auto loans and home improvement loans. So you ought to look into that.
All right, so first we pay off the high credit card debt.
Right.
Then we pay off other high interest loans. And then we pay off the mortgage?
Well, maybe not. There's another possibility. If you have an opportunity to contribute to a 401k plan or an IRA, the tax code gives you a lot of benefits. It may be deductible, which reduces your taxes right up front, and then the money inside the IRA or the 401k, depending on the type you have, is growing income tax free or at least deferred. So that's another place you ought to put your money before you start possibly paying down the mortgage.
So many places to put your money. All you need now is to have that extra money.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much for that good information today. So do you have a little extra money? First, pay off your credit cards, then pay down other debts, and maximize contributions to your IRA and 401k. Then you may look at paying your home mortgage faster. And after all that, then have fun. Treat yourself to something nice. If there's any money left, we'll be back.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information, or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.